Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, we are talking about stress and the gut. Now, stress is a condition that affects all people. Stress can be mental, it can be physical. Mental stress specifically involves, a challenge, a threat, a worry about the future or adverse events. And such stress activates the brain stress response systems. So this can have an effect on many of the body's, systems. So things like your cardiovascular system, muscular, urinary, your gastrointestinal, which is what we're going to talk about today, your sweat glands, anything like this. And it can all have adverse consequences, even in the long term. So during high stress situations, the big thing that happens in the gut is motility. And the thing about motility is that it can affect, your digestion and absorption in many other ways. But basically, when we have high amounts of stress in the upper gastrointestinal tract, so this is things like your stomach and even a small part of the small intestine, it exhibits markedly reduced transit. So what this basically means is that the food is going slower through your digestive tract. It's going to stay in your stomach for a longer period of time. What I think, or what research is contemplating, is basically thinking that this is a defense mechanism, making you not want to eat as much. That's why your appetite would be reduced when you have stress as well, because your stomach stays fuller for longer, and can also make you vomit because, the food is going nowhere. If it's not going down, it needs to come up. Okay. Conversely, the large bowel does the opposite. So in the colon, there is increased stool output. So the speed of things going through the large intestine is increased. This again, research things is a defense mechanism, kind of trying to eliminate toxins. And what we've learned is that there's a specific hormone called corticotropin-releasing factor. We also just call it CRF. Technically, it's not a term that you need to know, but everybody wants to learn something new every day. So it's this hormone that influences these changes, and it is released from nerve cells in the hypothalamus of the brain. So I think the big thing that's important for you to know is everybody has stress. It's important to manage your stress. But if you have gastrointestinal symptoms or, issues with absorption or digestion, in many people, stress can be the underlying cause. All right, so there's different ways that your digestive tract can be impacted by stress, and I'm going to go through a list of these. If these are any that you are struggling with, there is a high risk that it may be caused by stress, and stress management may be necessary for you. But at Core Perform, our goal is always to help you find the underlying cause and help to treat that. So if you are struggling with any of the following symptoms, please reach out to us. Okay, so firstly, alter digestion. So obviously, like I said, stress can either slow down or increase the speed of digestive processes. Now, in different people, it will also have a different effect. So we spoke about that hormone, CRF, but it would have different effects in different people. So basically, if you have alterations in your, transit time of food going through your digestive tract, it can cause indigestion, it can cause heartburn, it can cause a lot of bloating, and it can also affect the secretion of stomach acid and the digestive enzymes. Next, changes in gut motility. So motility is basically how muscles kind of push the food through, it's contractions of muscles pushing food through the GI tract. So this can lead to conditions like irritable bowel syndrome, which is, an umbrella term that kind of just everybody uses for any type of gastrointestinal discomfort. But this is literally what happens. It results in symptoms such as diarrhea, constipation, or even alternating bouts of both. Okay, so increased sensitivity. So basically, when you have high stress levels, the lining of your gut can become more permeable, meaning that small amounts of certain pathogens or even small molecules of food can get into the bloodstream, but it can also just be sensitive. It almost becomes thinner and sensitive. So it becomes more sensitive to stimuli, so exacerbating pains and discomfort, dyspepsia, anything like that. So certain foods that have not bothered you in the past, all of a sudden with high stress situations, it's as if you have a reaction to foods or almost have a type of an allergic reaction to foods that you've never had before. And then inflammation. So chronic stress increases inflammation in the gut. This can lead to, again, gut permeability. This is when we talk about leaky gut syndrome. It can also make conditions like inflammatory bowel diseases worse. This includes Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. Next up is microbiome imbalance. So stress can alter the balance of the gut bacteria, also known as the gut microbiome. So we need this bacteria. These bacteria help us to digest food and secrete hormones and help us build immunity. So the imbalance can often affect digestion, immune function, and your overall health. It's really, really important to keep the balance of these bacteria. Next is appetite changes. So as I mentioned earlier, if there's not a lot of food moving from your stomach through to the rest of your system, your stomach is going to feel full, you're going to feel uncomfortable, the food is going through your body so slowly, you're just not going to be in the mood to eat. And unfortunately, when stress affects your appetite in this way, it can make constipation worse because there's physically not enough food to move through your digestive tract. Secondly, you're not getting the nutrients that you need. You're not eating nutrients, so you're not absorbing nutrients. And this can lead to nutrient deficiencies too. And then obviously the impaired gut-brain communication. So the gut and the brain are connected through the gut-brain axis. And we all know that the brain affects the gut. We know this. If you're in a high stress situation, or, if you have a little bit of a crush, or you're going in for a test, any of these high stress situations, you can feel it in your stomach. You get butterflies, you get cramps, you can even have diarrhea, and it's all because of that gut-brain connection. But what we've learned is that the connection works the other way around too. So your gut also has a direct impact on your brain. So when your gut is in a healthier state, it also has an effect on your brain health. So things like depression and anxiety, OCD, any of these type of things, even Alzheimer's. If you have a healthier gut, there is a better your brain would be healthier too. So basically, stress can disrupt the communication and lead to various types of GI symptoms, and it affects your overall well-being. It affects your health in every single way. So it's important to manage your stress and, techniques like mindfulness, exercise, getting adequate sleep, doing breathing exercises, having, times where you can just relax and it helps to mitigate the effects of stress on your GI symptoms. But if you have persistent stress and it continues to affect your gastrointestinal tract, it is important to consult with a healthcare provider. Definitely with a dietitian. We would love to help find the underlying cause of your stress as well, and then treat the impact that it has on your gut. But if stress and anxiety is something that you really struggle with, I would also recommend seeing a therapist. But there are lots of ways that we can work on stress, and please reach out if this is something that you struggle with. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening.